Get ready, guys, because today we are talking about traveling with your kids. Oh my God, that sounds terrible. No, don't think that way. Okay, I'll see you on the inside.
You're listening to my mom
on the Mommy's Home Office show.
Okay, Mom, yes, you can. Love you. Yeah, push mommy up, eh?
Aw, thanks, guys. Now go play so I can record this. Welcome to the Mommy's Home Office podcast, where I pull back the curtains and talk about the realities of starting and running a successful online business from home. I'm your host, Nicole Wynn. Let's do this. This episode is brought to you by my very own online business starter kit. I want you guys to check this out because I've poured my heart and soul into it, and it has all the resources that you need to get started with your online business. And even if you already have an online business going, check it out and see if you use the same things I do. You can grab it at mommyshomeoffice.com/starter kit. Okay, so let's jump into today's episode. It's all about traveling with your kids. And with summertime upon us, I know a lot of us are taking vacations or wanting to take vacations with our families or maybe just solo with your husband. It may sound excruciating with all the packing and all the things that you have to do to get ready to go on a trip with your kids, but let me tell you, it's worth it. There's a million reasons why you don't want to travel with your kids, but today I'm going to give you a few reasons why you should want to travel with your kids. So take whatever romanticized idea of a family vacation and toss that right out the window, because traveling with kids is not for the weak, but it is so amazing and it really opens the world to them. Okay, so you might have young kids and think, what's the point, right? They'll never remember it anyway. Well, we are literally learning from the day that we are born, like little sponges, so it's not wasted at all on those littles. We took our kids to Vietnam 2 years ago for my sister-in-law's wedding, and at the time, they were almost 6 years old, 3, and 20 months. Yeah, that was a horrible flight. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was not good. My oldest remembers a lot. My middle guy and little remember probably only because of the stories we tell with our pictures. They do remember some things, but most of it's probably because of that. But they talk about it all the time. Going abroad or even just to different places in the U.S. exposes them to so many different kinds of people, cultures, and situations. It can open their little eyes to the larger world around them. Vietnam showed my kids real poverty. I mean, real sad poverty. And that not everyone has food every day. And that some cities have chickens running wild in the streets, or they slaughter animals on the side of the road. And that people dress totally different and speak different languages and eat different foods. They have learned that even though we all look different, we are all the same. We went to a Buddhist temple when we were in Vietnam, and they saw monks chanting. They saw people dressed in really strange clothing. They were speaking in Vietnamese with such a passion, it was crazy. They were so excited by all of those things. Another reason why I want you to travel is because they become more adaptable and flexible. You might think that you are so locked into their schedule right now, but trust me, you cannot take everything you have at home with you on the trip, and you can't make every single situation ideal. Naps will get messed up. Using devices might happen a little more than you want them to, or they might not work at all because they don't charge there. You never know. You might think that you'll be able to find diapers or wipes because you're going to a big city like Hanoi or Saigon, and you can't find them anywhere, which was crazy. I thought I would totally find wipes, and I didn't. Sleeping might be a little tough, and the time change and the jet lag, oh dude, they are no joke, but just bear through it. The first couple of nights in Vietnam were absolutely horrible. I wear a Fitbit, and it said that my sleep was broken up 56 times throughout the night between myself, all 3 kids, and my husband moving around. It was awful, but you roll with it because it's worth it. To see your kids light up when they are just looking around and seeing new things in different places, it's awesome. And being in new and different places also helps them to try new things. Trust me, I got my kids to eat things in Vietnam that I could never get them to try here in the US. They also were able to go up to different looking people and ask questions and do things because they weren't home in their comfort zone. They were out in the world. It was just really cool to see. They were so fascinated with with the airplane that we got on, the boat that we rode, the taxis, and oh my God, all of the motorbikes. They were nuts over those. They would ask so many questions about all those things and tell so many stories and make up stories. It was so fun. When we got home, they ran into my office where I have this huge map, and they wanted to point out all the places that we had been to and talk about all of the trip and look at pictures. And it really made me realize that this is going to have an impact on them for their whole life. They're going to remember the stories, they're going to see the pictures in the picture books, and they're going to just love it and hopefully pass it down to their kids. I feel that traveling has helped them kind of expand the boundaries of their minds, and that they feel like there's much more out there than our little bubble that we live in. And hopefully they feel like they're citizens of the world and not just of the US, not just of Texas or Plano, in our little tiny bubble where we really never go out of our little, 2-mile radius, except on trips. One of the biggest things that I love about this is that it instills a love of travel and adventure in them young. This is something that I've had since my tween years, and I'm so happy that I've been able to pass it down to my kids. My parents used to take my sister and me on some kind of vacation every single summer, whether it was to a Texas beach, camping in a state park, going to Six Flags. We did Disney one time, like when I was in high school, and we also went camping on a 2-week trip through Colorado and New Mexico, and that probably I remember the most out of all the rest of it. So the travel bug bit me young, and when I had the opportunity to travel to the U.S. Virgin Islands on a missions trip with my youth group at the time, I was 15 and I jumped on it. I went for 7 days and totally fell in love with traveling abroad, even though it is still U.S. kind of. It's very different. I knew that from that moment that I would travel the world, no matter what I had to do it. So since then, I've traveled all over the U.S., gone to Hawaii, Canada, Mexico with Cancun, the Riviera Maya, Tulum, the pyramids, then into on the other side in Cabo area. I've been to Peru. I've been to Machu Picchu in Peru. I've been to Belize, Honduras, all over the Caribbean, all over Western Europe. I studied in France for a semester in college, to Dubai, and to Vietnam, and I am so not done. I have so many more travel plans. I can't wait to show the world to my kids and have amazing experiences with them. So where have we taken our kids so far? We've taken them to Mexico, to the Riviera Maya area. For us in Dallas, it is like a 3-hour flight. So it's fairly inexpensive to go there for us. So that's where we go when we want a really beautiful Caribbean style beach. Then we took my oldest, when he was 1, we took him to the Grand Canyon on a week-long camping trip. That was challenging, to say the least, especially because he had just learned how to walk, and that was not easy. Then we took all 3 kids to San Diego, which is definitely a fun city with little kids. The zoo, the aquarium, the hiking is easy. It's just really nice. And then that same year, we took him to Chicago to meet with my sister-in-law, who at the time lived in Dubai, but she was visiting the U.S. on work, and she was going to be in Chicago for the week. So we went up and met her at the end of her trip, and she hung out for a day with us and a couple evenings, and then we got to have a lot of family time too. Then we went to Vietnam for her wedding because, like I said, she lived in Dubai at the time, and she was marrying a guy from Pakistan, and they both lived in Dubai. That's where they met. And let's just say getting 150 Pakistani people with visas into the U.S. is very difficult. So they decided to choose Vietnam because a lot of the family loved visiting Vietnam, and everybody could get there and get a visa and get in. So we all went to Vietnam and had her wedding, and it was just amazing. And then we went to Maui. We took the kids to Maui last summer, and they love it. I think by far Maui has probably been their most favorite vacation ever. Then this year we took them to Big Sur in California and Carmel by the sea. And it was for my dad's 70th birthday. And we went hiking and camping for 3 days and then stayed in a beach house for 4 days. It was really, really good. And we went with my sister and her kids and husband and then my mom and dad. And it was really cool. This year, we haven't started the summer yet. So this summer, we're taking them to Rosemary Beach in Florida. They have never been. My husband's never been. I have been one time in college, but I don't really remember it that much because probably I was too busy drinking. We're going to take them there for a week. And we got a really good deal on a condo. So we're going to go down there. And then right before Christmas, we're taking them to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico for a week. The week that leads up, I think we come home on the 23rd. So that's our recap for this year. And where we've been, we plan on taking them really all over the world. Me and my son make plans to go to Australia and New Zealand and go on the Lord of the Rings tour and go to London together and do the Hogwarts tour and all this kind of stuff. It would be so fun. So I want to know, where have you taken your kids? What was your favorite place? And where do you want to take them? Where do you want to go with your kids? And what are some of the cool vacations and experiences you want to have with them? I'm super interested to hear all of these things because I feel like it gives me so many ideas and maybe places I want to take my kids too. So hit me up and tell me where you want to go. Also, don't forget to download that free starter guide I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. Until next week. Oh, forgot to give you an update on my foot. You guys, I get my boot off next week. It has been 8 weeks. This is grueling and agonizing. So next week on Thursday, on May the 31st, I get my boot off and I get to walk. Can you believe it has already been 8 weeks and next week will be the 9th week? This is nuts. I can't believe it's gone by so fast. But my ankle is healing great. I have so much more freedom because I can drive as long as I take my boot off and put it back on before I walk. The only reason I still need the boot is because I ripped the ligaments and it needs stabilization for lateral movements so the ligaments can heal properly. But everything else is fine. Up and down movements are fine. I can emergency brake and do all of that stuff. It's just about the walking and the not turning my ankle on it. So I am so excited, and thank you guys so much for all the messages and well wishes for me and my family. That's been so sweet and so kind. I so appreciate it. So go download that free starter guide and let me know where you want to travel with your kids, where you have traveled with your kids, and I will chat with you next week. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Happy Memorial Day. See you later.
I really hope that you're loving this podcast as much as I am. If you are, please, please, please leave a raving review on iTunes so more moms can find us. Easiest way to get there, mommyshomeoffice.com/iTunes. And just one last thing. Mom, you've got this. Now go kick some ass.